I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Good afternoon to you and yours. It is the end of the bench. No, that was the show that just ended. It is the Bottom Line on 100.7.
Can we hit the bumper music and we can just start over?
No, we're fine.
Let's walk out.
No, we're fine.
It's like the teacher move where we didn't start class correctly. Everybody out.
No,
we're gonna do this again.
I trust me. I have to do that occasionally on the morning drive, but that is not what's going on today. It's just me forgetting what show this is at the moment. Bottom line here on 100.7 The Score. Jeff McGuire filling in for Joyce Whitman today. As you just heard, Taylor Beagle's in studio, back for a second round.
2 days in
after hanging out with Tech Talk on Friday. And speaking of Tech Talk, the one and only Clint Scott.
There's a lot going on in the ocean.
Pushing buttons and sliding slides back there for us on the program. Taylor, how was your summer going? It's been a while since I've talked to you.
Yeah, that's what me and Clint were talking about on Friday. Probably a pregame show, which is probably the last time I saw you as well. Yeah,
because you didn't do any of the post-game stuff this past year because, one, the games were so late. And I say that with fun because there were some late kickoffs and everything else.
Yeah.
Didn't see any of those. There were a couple of 6 o'clock kicks, I think, that we saw you at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you make a 3 o'clock kick for Optimum Game Day last year?
I did every pregame.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was probably the last time.
So how you been? How's it's Dr. Taylor Beagles, right? Because that's new from the past year.
It is. I graduated in May, which still feels weird. Like I feel like I need to be working on something. Like it's just weird that I don't have a paper due or something to look up. That's been an odd adjustment.
We've got this website thing that you may have heard about, doubletsportsnetwork.com.
Yeah.
And if you really, really just needed to work on something, I am sure that Rob Bro would help you work with the Red Raider Recon.
Yeah,
and put some work in there and really just get after some things. Yeah. If you're just dying to write some things, we can make that happen.
I'll keep that in mind. Absolutely.
Other than that, what else has been going on with you? Other than you got the doctorate?
Yeah, it's been the best time of the year, summer. So just basically doing whatever I want. My sisters laugh at me because I still take the kids to daycare even though I'm off.
Smart.
Yeah,
smart.
So this is just the best.
Some consistency is probably beneficial for them.
Absolutely.
Given the amount of your hair and you out of theirs is also probably a good idea for all involved.
Absolutely.
So I will commend that. Bullfighter chiming in. This isn't 100.7 the 8. And I'm guessing he means the Ocho. And I'm just telling you, man, this is when the Ocho should shine in the next couple of days. But they just do it on April 8th.
It was on, I was going to tell you this because you talked about it. And over the weekend on Saturday, I was in a place with several TVs. One of them was on ESPN News. And me and my friend were like, wiffle ball. And it had the Ocho logo behind it. So I don't know if they were doing all Ocho stuff or if we just happened to catch the National versus American League wiffle ball. It was very entertaining. I love
wiffle ball is the best.
There is nothing that they put on the Ocho that isn't entertaining for the Ocho.
Dude, they did because it was National American, and it could have been pre-recorded from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I don't know.
I don't care.
It was new to me, but they were doing overhand sidearm percentages of when they were throwing curves and fastballs, swinging percent, had all of these legit stats. And I was like, I forget through ESPN the Ocho they actually do a lot of work on this.
Oh sure.
Or they could just be making up the numbers and know I have no way of proving this wrong.
Somebody somewhere is keeping track of the numbers. They're just compiling it. Let's be honest. Somebody out there is the stat guy for all of these teams and figuring these kind of things out over the course of whatever event that they are doing. My favorite is the electricians, where they have to wire up a house. There's this big, big circle wall, and they've got to go through it. And they have like average time for these guys. I'm like, okay, I want to see the guy who wrote those times down. That's the guy I want to talk to right now because he is truly the hero of today's event. They could run the Ocho. I mean, they can't do it all the time because that would get old.
They should put on ESPN Plus. If you want to watch it, it's there.
You know what I miss the most, though, is ESPN Classic. That's the one I miss.
Isn't ESPN going away, like totally? Like it's just going to be the app soon, right?
Probably.
I'm
not in those meetings, but that would be my guess.
That's crazy to me.
No, Rob said the show was 100.7 the 6, so I figured this was the 8. See, Bullfighter, that's probably a better answer, but I kind of like the Ocho as we have gotten into this conversation. We will get into some actual sports conversations coming up, not just the Ocho. Taylor is one of our... sorry, Clint. He's giving me the double thumbs down.
Oh, no.
And they are 2 thumbs down. They are, I can confirm, and so can you, they were actual thumbs and not anything else.
Yeah. For now.
What else would they be?
I'm just, throwing that out there in case there's people out there that are weird.
You had your feet up on the desk.
You are one of our resident Texas Tech football experts, which is one reason that you get to partake in Optimum Game Day Live. So we will pick your brain about everything Texas Tech football related. Plus, I mean, even if they could have listened to the same questions on Tech Talk on Friday, one, that was Friday, and there's been a whole weekend since then.
Absolutely.
Number 2, it wasn't here on 100.7 The Score. So we have an entire new audience to hear the same answers. Welcome to summer radio, folks. We'll get into some Major League Baseball talk and home run derby and some really bad news if you weren't paying attention over the weekend. Hunter Dobbins made his return to the Boston Red Sox on Friday night after a very short, very productive IL stint. He had one rehab start where, he was really good after going on the injury list and beforehand doing some really good starting pitching for the Boston Red Sox. Season came to a close on Friday in the second inning after ground ball to first base. He runs over there to receive the throw, and it's a little lob-type throw. He has to jump to get it and comes down the wrong way, and torn ACL.
Jeez.
Done for the year.
I saw, we were talking about before we got on, but I'm not the biggest baseball guy in the world, but I did see, didn't a former Tech pitcher throw like a ridiculously fast pitch? Am I crazy? Hold on.
No. I mean,
I saw it. I honestly, I think I saw it on Instagram. Hold on.
I mean, maybe.
No,
that doesn't. I don't want to say no because I'm not like clocking pitches for all of these guys.
I saw it because I was like, and then I was like, that name sounds familiar.
Was the name Nolan Ryan? That's not a Tech pitcher.
Mason Miller. That was a former
Mason Miller.
Or am I crazy? Wait, hold on. Well, because I was like, that name sounds familiar, and then I saw Texas Tech baseball followed him on Instagram. But now that I'm saying it out loud, that may just be like, they just were. We're off to a great start.
This is nothing. You should have been here this morning with the morning drive. So we're still like light years ahead because Mason Miller is in fact a Major League Baseball player pitching for the Oakland Athletics,
but not a Tech baseball player.
Went to Gardner Webb.
So that's not Texas.
Was not Texas. That's where he graduated from. He could have had a contract, a commitment to Tech, and then got drafted. That is definitely a possibility.
I'm going to find this out.
I'm going to let you do that research.
According to Wikipedia, as a sophomore, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
There we go.
That doesn't help the conversation.
Not at all. But you know what? Hey, it is more facts that we are bringing you than we had planned on today.
Sorry, diabetes. I didn't say it right.
We'll check your headlines on the way next here on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the bottom line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, TSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff in for Choice, Taylor in for Chris, and for Jamie later today. So we get a nice full 3-hour show here out of Taylor. And Clint Scott behind the glass. Slide and Side's taking care of us on the program. Getting into ESPN's article about the top quarterbacks in the National Football League. This is execs, coaches, and scouts ranking the NFL's top 10 quarterbacks for 2025. Now, do you want me to give you the 1 through 12? Because that's the ones they initially mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we just want to skip to some specific guys? How would you guys rather play this?
Let's skip to specifics, and then we can just kind of give the list if we don't touch on some.
Number 1, I don't think I have to tell you who that is.
No, and it should be that way. I just can't. Like, someone ranked him 4. Like, that person has to work for, like, the Broncos. Like, it has to be a personal thing.
If you wanted to make the argument that Josh Allen had a better year, or that Lamar Jackson had more of an effect, if you wanted to make those arguments, while I don't agree with them, I am willing to concede there's an argument to be had there, that you can have that conversation. I don't agree with you.
Well, I'd say they had better years.
Well, no, I'm talking like, I don't know that better year is the word I would be looking for, but
I would. One was an MVP.
I wouldn't say Lamar's year was
individual quarterback play, they were better than Mahomes last year.
Yes, but that's not what this ranking is.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
no, I'm
that's
just
part
saying
of it.
for that argument, it absolutely is correct, and I'm a Mahomes homer and Chiefs homer.
Oh, sure. But I'm willing to listen to those arguments. If you wanted to throw in Joe Burrow, I don't know that I can back that one up. There's a couple other players that we'll probably talk about on this list later. So that could put Mahomes at 3rd. I can't see him being 4th. No. I can't.
No, that's like a personal. That's like a personal thing, or I'm trying to be different type. Yeah,
sure,
that's stupid.
That's the guy that doesn't vote for Derek Jeter for the Hall of Fame.
That's what it is.
But I'm willing to listen to some arguments. As much as Patrick Mahomes is number 1 and should absolutely be number 1, 4 was a little shocking on this list for them. They then had Josh Allen at number 2. For Jamie, if he is listening, his quarterback was ranked 2nd, right behind the guy that Jamie used to root for a lot around here. Joe Burrow, they had picked 3rd. Someone had him as low as 5. Last year's ranking was number 2, apparently. Highest ranked, someone had him as the number 1 quarterback, and that feels a little ridiculous to me.
I don't think that's crazy. I think just
as number 1.
I just think playing the quarterback position, he does it like as well. Like I don't think he does it as well as Mahomes, but I could see that argument. Like, he was incredible last year. Like, I know the Bengals were terrible, and part of being a quarterback is your team winning, but I don't think that's crazy. I like him better than Allen and Jackson. I'm not a big Josh Allen guy, but I like Burrow. Burrow's right there.
Okay. Lamar Jackson coming in at number 4. Yeah. So there's your top 4. For the teams that we get a little closer to...
5 is crazy.
You think 5 is crazy?
Let's see it. From
Jalen Daniels?
Jaden Daniels being 5 is as dumb as someone ranking Mahomes 4th.
I don't know, man.
He's done it once.
Well,
did you see what happened to C.J. Stroud last year?
I did.
I bet C.J. Stroud going... Actually, I always wonder if he's not even in the top 12. Or he's an honorable mention. I bet he was... Okay, he was number 7 after his rookie year. And was not good last year. Like, that same thing could easily happen to Jaden Daniels. Like, putting him at 5 is, like, wild to me. Against guys like Stafford and Herbert, like, who have done it for multiple seasons. Like, I don't know. I just think him at 5 is wild.
I'm just excited to finally not see Herbert up there. Every year, this is the year for Herbert and the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm a Herbert truther too.
The thing about Daniels that impresses me is, and why I don't have a problem with him being at 5. One, saw him twice last year as a Cowboy fan.
Yeah,
and yeah, he's really good. And some of that is also because he's listening to his signal caller.
Yeah.
And say what you want about him as a head coach. As an offensive play caller and an offensive schemer, Cliff Kingsbury knows what he's doing with quarterbacks. And it feels like Jalen Daniels is listening better than anybody he's had since Patrick Mahomes.
Last year was the first year Cliff has called plays where he basically didn't fall off a cliff in the second half of the season.
Heyo.
And oh wow, I didn't even realize that.
Well done.
I did a Clint.
It's spreading.
And maybe that was Jaden Daniels. So like maybe that's where Jaden Daniels, like, he's getting credit here. I don't know. I just, being a top 5 quarterback after one season is just kind of crazy. to me.
I'm with you. I don't have a problem with him there, but if I would, put out my own rankings, he would not be there until after I saw what this year was.
Maybe that's where I fall. I don't have a problem with him being at 5. I don't know that I would have picked him 5th. I probably would have picked Goff above him, only because I like Jared Goff more than I probably should.
I think we're mixing together of like the rules of the game, where like one is like, all right, who had a really good season last year, and then others are going, who have been consistent, and they're flip-flopping on how and where they vote on
because this list is basically who do you want for this season.
Yeah.
Because if you just saw Mahomes last season, that voting completely makes sense.
Yeah.
But if it's supposed to be, no, this is just best quarterbacks, that's crazy.
Like, Stafford is old, but I would take Stafford 100 times out of 100 over Jaden Daniels for this season, which is what this
as an
list
individual,
is.
yes, but also and part of the reason that I have him so high is you get Cliff Kingsbury to call him plays too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you factor in the offensive play caller in these, I feel like that's kind of weighing on some of the, like, it's not specifically, but could I get Jared Goff with Cliff Kingsbury? Now that is something I would like to see with regards to how that would change.
Something too. Where was it? Sorry. Like, so is this also taking into account, like, this is not just a quarterback ranking? Is it also he's got now, like, there's weapons on that Washington team? Like, is that, I don't know if that's being taken into account or if it's just like purely quarterback play. Because I mean, if that's the case, maybe that is a little more understandable when you look at the Washington offense as a whole with Cliff calling plays, those kinds of things. That may be a little more understandable. But then I guess you still have Mahomes first, and I don't know. I guess you're counting on a bounce back from a lot of those guys. But
the one that kind of surprised, and I say kind of surprised me, it didn't bother me. Baker Mayfield at 10. It feels like he's kind of had a renaissance.
He really has. It's annoying.
The last couple of years. And not going to lie, with what Cleveland did to him, I'm almost kind of rooting for him.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting against him as much.
Yeah.
I still don't want him to have a ton of success.
No, I never want anything good to happen for him ever.
That's how much I hate the Browns. I turned around and 100% am rooting for.
Yeah,
even though that situation is a couple seasons out,
sure.
I still want anything to rub the Browns' nose in something.
C.J. Stroud comes in at technically either 11 or 12, depending on how their tiebreaker went for honorable mentions.
I would have both honorable mentions above Mayfield, like, personally.
No, but I also feel like that's probably anywhere from 8 to 15 could be all grouped together.
Yeah, it might just be personal preference because, I would have C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. I would honestly, in that order, I would probably have them 8 and 9. I would have Herbert and then Stroud and then Love and then Hurts, Mayfield.
For those of you wondering where Dak Prescott landed on the list, he is in the others receiving votes. And because I am a Texas Tech fan, I have seen Texas Tech in the others receiving votes in the top 25, and we all do the same thing, right? Okay, cool. Well, there's 10 and 11, 12. Cool. Kyler Murray, 13. Brock Purdy, 14. Dak Prescott is coming in at 15th overall, ahead of Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa, and Bo Nix.
Tua getting votes is kind of crazy to me. Bo Nix, too, but I guess somebody's got to get them.
Somebody's got to get a 10th place vote somewhere, and that's probably how that happened. But take that for what it is. I haven't been the biggest Dak supporter when it comes to his on-field production. We'll see how it goes this year. It is the bottom line. 100.7 The Score, TSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the bottom line. 100.7 The Score, TSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app, where you can join any of the conversations that we're getting into, including top 10, 15, 19, I think is the number on here, quarterbacks in the National Football League. Kamo Baker had 4,500 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Seems personal to downgrade him.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we thought we were clear about that.
Wait. Yes, it is, in fact, personal. Not high. No, I don't think none of us. I don't think anybody are hiding that fact. In fact, two of us even said that because of what the Browns did to him, we're almost rooting for him.
I think I said I don't want anything good to ever happen to him ever.
Right. No, I think Clint and I were on.
Yeah, I don't think I could have been even
because of the Browns
any more clear on my feelings.
Also, to be fair, mine's not kind of. I'm actively rooting for him to bring down the Browns.
Sure. Yeah, and it's because of that.
What's the problem with the Browns?
I
don't know if it's like personal.
I don't.
You
Yeah,
don't like
it's
Brown.
personal. I'll start out with that.
Well, his is personal. Mine is more of. It's who they brought in.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's personal. I mean, it would be personal for you too.
I don't like the Browns. Don't affect me. Mm-hmm. It's the stupidest decision that they could have made. To bring in a scumbag, and I don't think I'm overstepping grounds here to say that he is a scumbag, but to bring him in and to let Baker go, who had been performing well for them, for a franchise who was desperately wanting to have a quarterback that could stick around. Mm-hmm. I don't like the Browns, but I hate Baker off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. See? I mean, if I were to take a poll, and I'm pulling a Chuck Hines here, and I apologize ahead of time, because this is not what we should be doing. If we took a poll, who is the most hated person around here? I'm willing to, like, not just like around here, but like cars driving down the street. Mm-hmm. Chris Beard would be near the top of the list, if not the top. Mm-hmm. I bet Baker Mayfield's number 2.
He'd be up
in
there.
that category.
Yeah.
And the other people would be going, why are you stopping me? I don't watch sports. That would be the other category.
I don't know. I think there's another basketball coach that would top. I think Baker Mayfield's farther
down after
far
Adams.
Enough away that answer has. I think if you bring him up, if you do like the Rorschach test, and
okay.
Or if you do show a picture of
smart
him,
in there,
then you go, I don't like that. But I don't think if you're just going off of the top of people's heads, I bet you'd have to go a little bit farther to get to Baker.
No.
Now, I know that there's one person
be wrong
on staff that loves Baker Mayfield, so there is some balance there. But yes, it's 1,000% personal. I don't know that we hid that at all.
What is it that Michael Scott says? Of course, business is personal. It's the most personal thing in the world. That's how I feel about football. Of course, football is personal.
Don't forget about Pine Box Tommy. Tommy was not here when he said the Pine Box comment, but yeah, Tuberville would go up on.
He's
that
more
list.
annoying to me, especially now, than I'm like I hate him. It's just annoying.
I'm not saying it's this way on my list. I bet if you did that, you might get a few Matt Wells before you got to Baker because of recency.
I would.
You might get more Tyler Shuck because of a certain comment.
Right.
Oh well, yeah, he's going to be up on that list too. Although, while Tyler made one comment, Baker kept making.
I'm just saying
comments.
Recency.
Sure, that could be a fun March Madness poll.
Yeah.
For who do you hate the most?
We can. This fan base can do a lot of things, and hate is one of them.
Holding a grudge is a special talent.
Yeah.
And
voting
I
online.
appreciate it.
Also really good at voting online.
Yeah.
And responding online when getting called out with cactuses.
Yeah.
So keep that. By the way, are our cactuses still alive back there? I haven't looked in the last
The one that's over by my desk is because I have accidentally poked myself about 10 times over the past 3 months for some reason. It got moved like a foot, and now I just keep finding it with my hand.
That's me. I'm just moving it closer to you every time you leave your desk.
How dare you? How dare you know my lack of awareness?
Switching gears here.
Put a straight jacket in here.
Looking ahead to Texas
Joyce
Tech.
would actually like that.
Switching gears here to Texas Tech football for a few minutes here, as opposed to players that we hate and coaches and people in general. I want to ask you this question, and everybody off the chat line as well, feel free. What does this Texas Tech football offense need to do in 2025? And it's kind of an open-ended question. If you want to do this, just score more points, I mean, you can.
That'd be a good start.
That would help.
Yeah.
But I also don't feel like, while your offense struggled at times in the past couple of seasons, it was still a very effective offense overall. It wasn't to the tune of number one offense in college football, but it's not like they scored 7 points a game.
I think it was too inconsistent.
Inconsistent offense is something I will absolutely agree with, but it wasn't ineffective.
It was ineffective at times.
At times,
right. It, like, to me, and this may be like a hot take or whatever, but there was not much difference between the offense and defense to me last year. Like, they were both good at times, and they were both the reason you lost games at times.
Yes. And they were never the reason you won games together.
No. Then that's probably the biggest indictment is that none of those good, like, I mean, you can look at just like the Oklahoma State game. Your defense basically didn't show up, and your offense carried you. But then there was like the Iowa State game where you probably wouldn't be in that game if it wasn't for the defense.
Yeah.
So it's just they were both equally inconsistent, which kind of made for an incredibly frustrating season. So that when you asked the question, the very first word that came into my head was just consistency, and I think you can do that through playmaking. Like, I think you added playmakers, because part of the problem that I had with last year's offense is you basically had Taj, who is consistent but not a home run threat, and then outside of that, your biggest home run threat was Caleb Douglas. Like, Josh Kelly is amazing. He's one of my favorite Red Raiders, like, in recent memory. He was like, that Iowa State game, heroic. But he also wasn't really a big play threat. He was more of a possession receiver. So you had Caleb Douglas, and then like John Carlos Miller, which is your backup tight end. It was like your next big play threat.
Not that we're upset with these guys.
No, like I expect big things out of both of those guys this year. And so that's kind of what I was getting to is you basically had Kitley, who I think who's an offensive coordinator that is respected and does a good job, who basically had to be a good offensive coordinator for like 17 straight plays to score points. And that's just that's not something any offensive coordinator is going to do, because since you didn't really have a playmaker, your quarterback was hobbled with the shoulder injury. Your best players are more just kind of yard eaters. They're not necessarily big play threats. And so it's very difficult. Oh, and I didn't even mention your offensive line was maybe the worst I've ever seen in a Tech uniform.
I mean,
it was
we could
bad.
go back a few years.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take long to go back and find a worse one.
It's on the list. It's one we would have to mention.
Not good.
So all of that, I guess, is where I'm trying to get is the way you improve this year is you just don't have to call as many plays.
Because you are more effective in the ways you're running.
Yeah, you call the touchdown play more, and you do that because you have better players. Like, it's just...
This thought off the 8 Center chat line, I think, kind of reiterates what you're talking about. I want an offense that doesn't have to hit perfectly every play to keep a drive going.
And that is where, when you talk about players over plays are important, but that sentiment is exactly why players over plays is a saying.
From Bullfighter, the Texas Tech offense this year needs to be more consistent and less predictable. I don't care if you're predictable, if you're effective.
Yeah, and that's where talent will come in too, is because, like, for years Alabama was pretty predictable and it didn't really matter because they were better.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you know what's coming if you can't stop it.
And Mike Leach famously said it. Here's our playbook.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
We're going to out-execute you.
Yeah.
And you also had guys like Michael Crabtree and Wes Welker and Cliff Kingsbury and Sonny Cumbie. And, I mean, we can go through the entire list of characters through the course of that time frame that made that playbook work.
Yeah.
The That's not what we saw the last 3 years.
No.
And I am not anti-wide receiver screen. I am anti-wide receiver screen when the wide receivers don't block.
that honestly is a very underrated development over the past few years. Is that
cannot believe how bad it has gotten.
That Tech used to be the best
school for that. Yes.
And it is, and maybe that goes to coaching. And now we've got new coaches in here, so maybe that's something that can improve just based off of the staff.
More Texas Tech football conversation on the way as the bottom line rolls on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Rolling through the bottom line of 100.7 The Score, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. You can join our conversations on the Yates Flooring Center chat line at either the website or on the app for absolutely free. You can also give us a call on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. First voice you hear will be Clint Scott, who will be happy to take your phone call. You can then hang out with Jeff McGuire, filling in for Choice Woodman, and Taylor Beatles now in for Jamie Lent as the program continues to roll on through summer vacations. And Taylor, I hate to bring you bad news here, man. I really do. Because I hate when mommy and daddy are fighting. Like, as a kid, when they're having, the adult conversation time, and you can hear it in the next room or on the other floor, and you're just the whole time going, I don't like when mommy and daddy are fighting.
Taylor doesn't get that reference. He's still sending his kids to daycare.
Yeah.
He was a kid once.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean,
Taylor was never a kid.
No,
Taylor was one of those people
I was born
in
25.
Yeah.
The mommy and daddy who are fighting in this case would be the SEC and the Big Ten when it comes to college football playoff expansion. If you haven't heard the news, first, I envy you, and I'm sorry for making you now disillusioned, because this is just more... SEC Media Day is going on, and SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey reiterated the possibility could stay at 12 for the college football playoff if his league and the Big Ten can't agree on the model that would be best. They spoke for about 4 or 5 days, apparently, and they're just different view coming out of the spring meetings. In Florida, Big Ten has favored a model that rewards conferences with guaranteed spots and playing games to determine them, and the SEC coaches most recently said that they would now prefer a 16-team format that includes the 5 highest-rated conference champions and 11 at-large bids. Hang on a minute. I've heard that from somewhere. Where have I heard that from? Nope, not coming. It's on the tip of my tongue that I've heard this idea. Like, champions of divisions, or, divisions would be the word to use, yeah. That they get into a playoff automatically, and then you get the best next teams in. Huh.
Crazy.
It's not really what they want, but they had enough flack whenever they originally said, here's all these automatic qualifiers, and they actually listened and went like, oh, okay, well, maybe that isn't so great. And I guess credit to the Big Ten for sticking to their guns and going like, we don't care about flack.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why, because Sankey's so back and forth, because then Sankey had maybe the douchiest saying I've ever heard today.
Oh, I saw that. Terrible.
You got anybody that wants a Super League, you're looking at one right now. Like, all right. And you've had 2 years to say that, so pipe down, Sankey.
Yeah. The fact that those two can't agree kind of makes me hate them just a little bit more. And everybody is out for their own interest. I don't think that's going that far. I was shocked that the Big 12 was in favor of the 5 and 11 combination to get to 16.
Why were you shocked by that?
Because the Big 12 right now is getting one in. You got one in. I was also surprised that they were completely okay with the reseeding, with the seeding of the teams by seed and not by conference champions get the bye.
Yeah.
Because you have been the benefactor of that. And you were the one most benefited by having your conference champion get a bye and get to that next round automatically. That's not what's best for the Big 12, because as we've seen, the Big 12 does not get the notoriety that the SEC does or the Big 10, nor should it in some cases, mind you. And I will concede the top half of both of those leagues is better than the top half of the Big 12. I will concede that.
Depends on where you put the half, but yeah.
But
the top fourth definitively better.
Okay,
top
quarter.
2-3.
And I am not saying that the winner of the Big 12 could run rampant through the SEC or Big 10. I'm also not saying that the top 3 places in the Big 12 couldn't do some damage in those other 2 conferences. Doesn't mean they'd win it. Not saying that at all. Don't try to put those words in my mouth, because that is not what I'm saying. But they also wouldn't be the Vanderbilt, or I don't even know who the bottom rung of the Big 10 is anymore.
Rutgers.
Nebraska. They wouldn't be Nebraska, for lack of a better definition. Like
Northwestern, Rutgers,
yeah.
Maryland.
I still like picking on Nebraska there. I think that's where
I don't know why I didn't say Purdue first.
Oh, I forgot Purdue existed.
I know.
But you wouldn't just be doormats either. And there is a balance in those 2 conversations that there is never going to get answered until there is a Super League.
Yeah.
And newsflash, even then it's not going to get answered. It's just going to be more data points that are more specific.
So don't you think that Yormark is in favor of the format, because that would presumably mean the Big 12 is guaranteed 2?
One would think, and a guarantee is such a misnomer here, because there will be times I think the Big 12 still only gets 1.
No, I mean,
as ridiculous as that feels to me.
There's been reporting where it's like 4-4-2-2, like guaranteed.
Yeah, if it's the 4-4-2-2 that's being thrown out by the Big 10, you'll get 2 regardless.
Right, and I don't think that's going to fly. And that's not what Yormark is calling for, or the SEC is calling for. They are calling for the 5 and 11. So you get 1 in locked in for the 5 conferences.
Right, but if you were saying that wouldn't be the case if it was the 4-4-2-2.
No, I was talking about the 5-1.
Right.
Like that's. Were you talking about the 4-4-2-2, or were you talking about the 5 and 11?
I think these two. I think these two are kind of married in a way, because I think the 5, or you get your conference champions, and I think that would also guarantee. I think within that it would also be like then the next Big 12. Like I think you can do both of those. Is what I'm thinking. And I think that's what Yormark is. Like, our champion gets in, as well as one of the at-large is who finished second.
Right. I'm assuming that might not happen.
Okay.
And maybe that's where the confusion is.
Yes, because I was assuming if he's going out and saying that, those deals are kind of together.
The impression that I got from Yormark from Big 12 Media Days is we know that as we sit today, the Big 12 won't be getting 4 teams in.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
No.
But we want the opportunity to get 4 teams in. You let the champions in because you let champions of your leagues in. That's how playoffs work. You let the champions of your divisions in. That's how playoffs work. I know that the College Football Playoff Committee was so nice and invented this whole new term called bracket last year, and they did a really good job with it. And I'm so glad that March Madness followed that concept afterwards, because we'd never heard of one before. But the champions getting in locked in, I got no issue with. And if you want to expand that to 6 and include the Pac-12 into this,
nope, I don't.
I said if I'm not. Nope. I'm not going to tell you that's the worst idea ever.
I would.
I've got a ghost runner in Major League Baseball in extra innings. I have a worst idea ever right now. I don't need a new one.
Belt before I gave it to this version of the Pac-12.
But I also like the idea that Yormark is saying, we know we're not as good now, but that doesn't mean we won't be as good in the future.
But I also think like he really believes it, because everything he's done in his mind has been good for Big 12 business. So if he really thinks that this is good for Big 12 business to not
yes,
the automatic ones, I'm like, he really believes it.
Yeah.
More sports conversation on the way, including Texas Tech football next.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line. 100.7 The Score, Double T, SportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. I do need to say I'm sorry. Bullfighter, I was not taking a shot at you when I was picking on Nebraska. That's not what I was doing. So I should have come up with a different school. They're just my default for teams that left the Big 12 that then sucked. So I apologize.
I kind of think Nebraska's going to be good this year.
Because of baby Mahomes.
Yeah, he's good. Rule just knows how to. I mean, it's almost like proof of concept. I hope they're good because basically everything that McGuire does is what he learned from Rule. So
sure,
so I hope that it's successful in a way.
I don't disagree. I mean, I thought they took strides last year.
Yeah.
They just really fell off. But I think Matt Ruleball just works at the college level.
Yeah,
and
it's
what he was so good at before Baylor and then at Baylor, I think is completely applicable with what Nebraska is right now as a program. Not what Nebraska used to be, but as now a program that's trying to build and maybe still, has a little bit of name brand recognition. Yeah. Although if you put that with like kids of today, I don't think they really care because the bulk of their lives as recruits, they don't know what that Nebraska is.
Yeah.
That, and I mean, the fan support is like they put 100,000 people in that stadium even when they were awful. Like that goes a long way too.
I can respect the things that Nebraska has done, but I can also vividly remember the Nebraska that was in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And their attitude when they left, when they were getting their butt kicked because they felt they were above the Big 12.
That was a little before my total sports consciousness.
See, I hated that they left, but I still blame Texas for that.
Oh, yeah. No, we know who to blame.
I don't think they left because they were getting their butt kicked. I think that they were. No. There was a little bit of arrogance thinking, well, why shouldn't we also have the same power that you have over at Texas?
Which is kind of, I mean, from their point of view, I kind of get it.
Right, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with their point of view, and they left.
But it still goes back to
they are, in fact, the ex-girlfriend. Yeah. A&M, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, ex-girlfriends.
And Colorado's the one you got back with, but at the same time, you didn't really mind losing?
Yeah, that was the hey, we should just be friends, and then she was upset about it, and then left, and came back and said, okay, I do kind of like being friends with you. That might be how I would describe Colorado leaving.
It was the junior high girlfriend that you didn't really remember a relationship with anyways, and then outside of high school, she fell into a bunch of money. And all of a sudden started to look a lot better.
That's kind of how I see Missouri now. Like when people say Missouri was it like when they mention like former Big 12 Missouri, it like breaks my brain almost. Like I don't know why it just doesn't. Like I don't think they really like it. It also breaks my brain that they're in the SEC. Like it's just weird. Like where should they belong? I don't know.
I'll tell you where they belong.
He can tell you specifically where they belong.
I'm sure you can.
But that is another story for another fan base to go through. Guys, as we get ready for more Texas Tech football coming up in 2025, they have thrown every possible dollar at every possible group on campus to have the best and the brightest in all position groups. If you were to look at every other ranking that for the transfer portal and incoming freshmen that they could do, they spared no expense. What position group or groups are you still worried about, though?
Somebody asked me this the other day.
Was it that guy over there?
No,
okay.
It was not.
You could have told me. Friday was a long time ago.
Yeah, sure.
Quarterback.
Still,
yeah,
okay.
Because you didn't. It's almost like I am a fan of Morton and Hammond, so just want that out there first.
That helps.
But I do think it's odd that you spent all this money and didn't address the most important position. And now maybe I should take that to mean they internally feel that wasn't necessary. Or maybe they even feel like there was a market inefficiency on these other positions and you would have to pay more to get a quarterback they're not even sure was better than Morton. Like, there's a lot of factors that go into that. But I just find it a little odd that you're going all in and you just kind of thought, we're good here. Again, I think they probably are good. I'm just slightly surprised. Like, obviously, they brought in kind of an experienced backup. But anyway, so honestly, the worry comes from just health. Because even though, yes, Morton started every game last year, you could tell he wasn't healthy. And so hopefully the shoulder surgery and all that fixed it.
I don't know where I fall on this idea. I think I could be talked into either way of it. Is this the surgery he should have had last year?
That is my belief.
That is the question that I don't have an answer to because I don't know, and I don't know that any of us know. I think it's all speculation, but just the way it's mentioned, he didn't have surgery last year, and how quickly it was still bothering him at the beginning of the year.
It seemed like some weird stuff was going on.
Yeah,
for sure. And so that would be the first thing. But it's kind of just like I always worry about quarterback because like I think they're that important, and so they're always going to be on the list. And then I'm torn. The second position group, I'm kind of torn because. And for different reasons. Like DB, because I think you have some high-end talent, but that's also a position where you need depth. Mm-hmm. And I'm not so totally sold on the depth because we saw how bad they could be last year. And a lot of, like, obviously you have to account for growth and all those things. So I'm worried about the depth at DB. But I think, like, you're starting 4 or 5, however you want to run out there, is going to be like one of the best in the conference. And then offensive line, because I am worried about, like, I don't know if you have high-end talent. Like, I think you're better than you were last year, but I don't know what that means. And then, yeah, like I look at a guy like Vinny Scurry, who I was super excited about, and, you know, he missed all of last year. What does that mean for him? Like because the couple games he did play, he was still kind of acclimating. It was hard to get a read on. So, and what's tough about, honestly, secondary and offensive line is those are probably the 2 units that work in, like, they have to be a unit. Like, they have to be able, they have to know, because, I mean, we saw it last year with how many coverage just misses did we have because there was miscommunications going on. And offensive line is even more so that way. Like, it's hard to judge. Sometimes you can have a better unit with maybe less overall talent than a unit that has more talent, but they don't work well together. They don't fit well together. So it's so hard to know exactly how the offensive line is going to work. But what brings me, like, gives me some optimism is you at least have options. Like, to me, last year, outside of the 5, it was just like, I don't know what's going on after that. And now you legitimately probably have 7 guys that are vying for the top 5. Like, that's where you want to be. And so that gives me some hope for the offensive line. And then with the DBs, what gives me hope is some of the guys that you, like, there was the former 5-star, I'm going to have to look up his name, who, in a second, one of the transfers, who I've heard.
Micah Hudson.
No, sorry.
That
DB.
fit for both of those answers, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember their ratings, but you have either Pollock or Balfour.
I believe it's Pollock. Was he the one that played at like Illinois or Purdue or?
Yeah, Purdue. Okay.
Like, I've heard that every time scouts come in the building, they're like, "Who's that guy?" You know, and so he may be like, I have no idea what he's going to be, but he may end up being the starter. You know, so that's kind of what's tough. There may be depth at DB. It's just impossible to say. Like, at least with the offensive line, we've seen some of these guys get snaps, and that's kind of what's important with the O-line is just getting those reps in. So
to parallel with that,
yeah,
and I think you bring up 2 very good groups that you have questions about, because they both do need to play well. The offensive line. How many times have we heard that they're the best? You know, this is where we're focusing, and we're going to really go out and attack. And I'm kind of gun shy on this. And yes, this is different. You're using better weapons now, but I need to see it against people that can actually do something.
And Pollock was Mississippi State. I don't know what I was thinking.
Okay,
I
but
just had a complete.
But he was a stud too. But yeah, so it was.
Balfour came from Charlotte.
There's one. Hold on.
We have a commercial break to figure this out. We also have Jamie's question on the way next. It won't be about Tech football. I'm going to go ahead and warn you guys ahead of time.
All right.
It's on the way on 100.7 The Score.
Terry and Grant.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line. 100.7 The Score, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff in for Joy, sitting alongside Taylor in for Jamie, and Clint is here doing Clint things. Yes?
I was just going to clarify, since I went into it rushed in the break, just to clear it up. Terry and Grant, the Purdue transfer who played their season. And
Did he play?
He was there a season.
Yeah. I have the roster pulled up. I could probably check that out. But yeah, I mean, he was like a 5-star kid out of high school, reclassified, graduated a year early.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He played in 11 of their 12 regular season games. Which, boy, Purdue has some issues, but if that's a telling side that you have a reclassified
Yeah, he should have been a senior in high school and played in almost every game.
Apparently started the season opener there for the Boilermakers.
Wow. There you go. Well, and I think one thing that could fix basically almost any problem that I had with the DB room is
the defensive line.
Well, yeah. But an often forgot about guy, because he was one of the first ones, is Cole Wisniewski. Like, he's going to be an NFL guy too. And it's just we added this guy who played at one of the most successful programs in the country. Didn't play last season, which is probably why it's a little underlooked, and he was like one of the first ones. But you have him back there, that might fix a lot of your issues.
We can do that offensively for the same reasons with Hunter Zambrano. I mean, you're jumping up a level, injured.
Yeah.
A lot of NFL grades coming into last season for Zambrano before he gets hurt.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Wisniewski and Lewis side by side for a full season.
Yeah, that Lewis injury really is unfortunate. And honestly, I think it's like last year we were saying the same thing about, or was it last year? Yes. The defensive lineman, the pass rusher that transferred to Michigan State from Oklahoma, he had that cheap shot against Arkansas where they like tore up his arm or shoulder or something, and then basically derailed last season and now ended up transferring. But he was really coming on before that. And I kind of feel the same way about Chapman Lewis. Like, Chapman Lewis was becoming like the DB, and then gets hurt in the bowl game, and now maybe we'll see him this year, towards the end. Just kind of unfortunate to have a trajectory derailed like that.
Yeah, injuries suck.
Yeah, just in general, yeah.
Like, I think we can all agree.
Yes.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Except them. They can have as many injuries as they want. Us, not so much.
Yeah.
That's where their injuries are awesome. Ours suck. Like, that's how that should go, right?
Yes.
Right, I've got that right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to this. Jamie, it's time for Jamie's question of the day.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Brought to you by someone not named Jamie and presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
All right, guys, we are keeping the spirit of football, but not specifically talking about Texas Tech here. I want to make this very clear.
Okay.
Texas Tech can be the answer, and why, but that's not necessarily what the answer is. We're looking at Big 12 football. And I'm going to ask you a very simple question as we sit here on July 14th of 2025.
Okay.
Who is going to win the Big 12 football championship? And why?
We talked about this a little bit on Friday. Kind of how it's slightly annoying that somebody like Kansas State has kind of seemingly become the favorite when they have a lot of questions. But it's just kind of like pedigree.
And are coming off a worse Big 12 season.
Yeah.
Besides the point.
Yep, I know. They didn't play us last year. That's why it was worse.
I am sticking with by that. They are the vanilla, and I get it. They've earned it. Don't get me wrong when I say this. They have earned the vanilla status for this safe Big 12 pick because nobody's going to get burnt by Utah.
Yeah, you're at least going to be close.
Yeah,
like
because they're going to be solid, high end. They could win the Big 12 once a decade. They've already got that once a decade out of the book, so it's not going to happen this year. We're just going to do math here.
Like I would be if I was going to lean on pedigree, I would lean more Utah than Kansas State. But I'm not going to do either one of those things. I do think that Texas Tech will win, and that scares the
heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, we'll do it that way.
It scares me too that you're saying it.
Yeah. But it's just like
because you're not an overreactor. You're not a just charger in with the Bulls kind of thing.
But if I weren't, I would pick Iowa State. If I weren't to pick Texas Tech,
you've just made Clint Scott very happy. I just want you to know that.
I would get bashed for believing in Iowa State again.
No, I don't think Rocco Becht is as good as like some of the people talking about him. I honestly believe this, that he gets a little overhyped because his name is cool. I legitimately believe that.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Right.
Yeah.
Rocco is a fun, cool name to say.
Sure. So if we change it to like Barrow, do you think
No, if he was Greg Becht, no. Nobody cares.
Martin Becht?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Vincent?
Sure,
or do we call him Bo at that point? Because then it's cool.
Yeah.
Cameron Becht.
Bo would be closer.
Brock.
Another Brock. But yeah, I think he's
those frat names I can think of.
I think he's fine.
Chad Becht.
Yeah. I think they had a good season last year, and the fact that we beat them, like, kind of changes the way some Tech fans maybe think about them, because like, wait, they couldn't have been that good because I saw a pretty average Tech team go up there and win. But I think Tech was pretty good last year. But anyway, so I would probably, like, it scares me to pick Texas Tech, even though that's what my brain says. So I'm going to take Iowa State. Because
we were this close, man. We were this close to having a Big 12 championship, but no, Taylor says no.
Because if we're going to go to pedigree, I don't see why you would trust Whittingham or Kansas State over what Matt Campbell has done at Iowa State. And we talked about this on Friday. Like, you want to trust Kansas State's infrastructure and all that. That's fine. They're leaning on two guys we know pretty well here, in Matt Wells and Jerron Bradley. And that's not two guys I'd want to be leaning on if I was trying to win a Big 12 championship. So, I don't know. I think my head says Texas Tech or Iowa State, and because I'm not an idiot, I'm going to pick Iowa State. Because I don't want anyone to blame me for when Tech falls short.
Oh, they're going to blame you. Let's make this clear. You will be blamed, but that we won't be blamed for this. Clint.
If it's not this year, I don't know when it's going to be. And I think in the Jimmy's and Joe's conversation, this is clearly the best roster of Jimmy's and Joe's that Tech has had.
Oh, there's no doubt,
since
especially compared to the rest of the conference.
And I think you have the best roster in the Big 12, top to bottom.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Ohio State route here, that you can completely. And it's the Big 12 version. This is what you have to put in our minds. I'm not saying Texas Tech is going to be just like Ohio State, who went and won a national championship last year, but doing a similar route to take that next step. Because we keep on forgetting how close you've been to the Big 12 championship, right? You've been a game away.
A specific game. My problem with that...
Still been a game away, and some of the most frustrating losses and moments that you've had. And so this is good. If this roster is good enough for not just but 2 more wins, and I think it is, then that clears up that discussion. It doesn't matter when the loss was or who it was to. And so I think in the Big 12 championship game, I think you're going to see Tech, and I think they're going to face Arizona State. I think Arizona State's going to make it back. I'm really high on Iowa State. I like how much Arizona State returns. I get the Scatterboo worry. I think they've done enough at running back to have a solid running back game, and I think we're not taking enough consideration into Sam Leavitt's allowed to take another step forward as a young quarterback who was really good last year, and they might have the best weapon in the Big 12 in Jordan Tyson.
Yeah.
So I think with how much they return, it's also a team that knows how to get there. But I think those two are going to play in the Big 12 championship game, and I do think Tech will win it.
My problem with the Texas Tech has been one game away, one win away, is it was a specific win that you didn't get that became the one win that you would have needed at the end of the season. You knew it was an important game then. Mm-hmm. You lost it then, and then the rest of the season played out so that it mattered again.
Yeah.
That's why, and it's not a wrong stat. Clint's not wrong for bringing it up, but that's my issue with it is.
Well, I'm just saying we keep on thinking like you were 3 games away from appearing. You have been a lot closer.
Last year you backed your way back in, and it ended up being the Kansas State game, not the Kansas State game, the TCU game that was the one that kept you out because of things that happened in front of you. The Pac came back to you, and that's the deciding factor. That's where my issue with that is. You were eliminated after the TCU game because of what you had done.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.